My next guest is a brilliant columnist, and I say that with conviction. He was recruited personally by Andrew Breitbart for his conservative commentary. He's now the senior columnist at townhall.com. He's a trial attorney, a retired Army colonel, and he says there's a backlash coming against the ruling class of woke tyrants, and it might be coming sooner than they think. He is absolutely brilliant. I can't read him without laughing out loud. He's one of the most gifted writers in our country today. If you're not reading him, you're missing out some of the best stuff in America. Would you welcome to the show, Kurt Schlichter. Kurt, great having you here.
Thank you, Governor Huckabee. Holy cow. Brilliant, huh?
Yes.
Continue.
You are brilliant. I will say it again because when I read your stuff, first of all, I have to read it thoroughly because it's just so well written. Your use of words, amazing. So thank you.
Well, I don't know where to go with that except to say, yeah, it's great stuff.
That's what you do.
No, look, I'm a Los Angeles trial lawyer. I was a cavalry colonel. It's not like I have a tiny ego. All right, it's enormous. But fortunately, I've got my wife to keep me in check. So
and speaking of your wife, I found out something just tonight I did not know. Your wife came here from Cuba when she was just an infant.
Absolutely. My wife is an American by choice. And her father and mom, father came over, served in the United States Army, Americans by choice. We need to support the Cuban people.
Yeah.
We need to stop this mealy-mouth whimpering that's coming out of the White House and stand firm for freedom. No exceptions, no question.
I think there are so many Americans, regardless of their party, who agree with that and wish that it was a united message to send to the world that we stand for freedom, not for communism and socialism and dictatorship. That shouldn't be hard.
Well, the problem our current occupant of the White House has is that he has to suck up for a bunch of people who call themselves socialists. Now, if you've actually experienced socialism, and I served in the ruins of socialism when I deployed with the Army to the former Yugoslavia, and I spent time training people in Ukraine, you know what it's like. And when you have family members whose own family members were locked up simply for wanting to be free, then you know where you have to stand.
Your outspokenness on the issue of what's happening in wokeness among corporations. Freedom of speech once used to be the hallmark of America, whether you were on the left or right, and you respected people who were on the left, but they had the freedom to speak, and you cherished their freedom to speak. Now, if you don't take a far leftist position, it's not just making you quiet, it's putting out of business. That's frightening to me.
It's terrifying. You know, me and millions of other Americans served our country overseas. Now, I was no war hero like, Dick Blumenthal or Pete Buttigieg. I ran a heavily armed car wash in Desert Storm. Of course, what we were washing off was nerve agent. But I sacrificed a lot. My wife sacrificed a lot. We had a 6-month-old kid when I went away to Kosovo after 9/11, and I was gone for 16 months. Yeah. We all sacrificed. And to see the values of the Constitution that people like me swore to serve, that family members backed up their people serving, trashed, it's a disgrace.
Yeah. And to that point, the military has become the new center of wokeness. And we had Matt Lohmeyer on our show, the young Space Force commander who was relieved of duty because he dared question some of the things happening in the military.
Outrageous. It is a utter disgrace when a serving officer is unable to point out, hey, maybe we ought to be teaching socialism to our troops. When General Milley, whose personal bravery as a combat soldier is without question, but whose conduct as chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff has been an utter disaster. He gets up and says, well, I read Marx, and I read Lenin, and now I'm reading Ibram Kendi, or Henry Rogers, whatever name he's going by today. All I could think of was, I read Marx and Lenin too because I wanted to know how to defeat them. What's your purpose reading Kendi? Don't tell me it's training our troops to to believe that garbage.
See, critical race theory is a dangerous ideology that is being
Terrible.
pushed into students. But when it gets into the military, I don't understand it because it's almost like the new goal of the military, rather than to be the greatest, most lethal fighting force in the world, is to be diverse.
Well,
how does diversity win battles?
Well, look, true diversity is being able to utilize the contributions of every single soldier, airman, Marine, whatever the heck they call those people in the Space Force. It is not to check a bunch of boxes. Oh, your grandfather came from here, check. That doesn't make you more combat effective. What makes you combat effective is forging a team based on a central set of values, and those values are found in our Constitution, Governor. That's what we swore an oath to, not to a bunch of faculty lounge communists, running their fool mouths.
The thing I love about you, Kurt, is that I never have to say, now, Kurt, could you put it a little plainer? It's part of what I absolutely adore about the things that you say. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hey, you can check out all of Kurt's books on Amazon, including The Split. It comes out this coming Thursday. It's going to be a brand new book, a must-read. And if you want to follow Kurt in real time, follow @KurtSchlichter on Twitter. And please read his regular columns at townhall.com. I'm telling you, they're incredible.